Well, hello everyone. We are getting ready to take a tour of our neighborhood around our church, Restore Church of Albuquerque. And this video is one on a special request. I've always wanting with the videos that we make to just kind of let this be a way for you to be here with us, be here and see the ministry that Karma and I have been blessed to join. Just so thankful for Restore Church and thankful for Pastor Justin Pearson and Julie and John and Evan and the rest, everybody. And but this is a special request for if you are from First Baptist Church of Sweeney, Texas. We are making this, we as in me, trying to master the art of the one take, no edit video. And we're right here and this is a special video for all of you there in Sweeney, Texas. Casey, everybody else, hello. I hope this video works. I hope everything is taking. I got my fuzzy mic. Let me zip up my zipper here. And started off the video with a picture of that hypodermic needle there in the grass. We are in the park where we do a lot of our events, VBS style events, Easter style events. There is a, it's like a youth center, a family center right here that is a city place there. And just underneath these, if you can see the overhead, I'll walk away from the cover with the picnic tables and kind of let you see where we do a lot of our outreach events right here in the neighborhood. We're just a few blocks down the street from our church building, and you can just get a look around, kind of do a 360 of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Don't know how that sun is shining, but there are the Sandia Mountains right on the edge of the city. They go up over 10,000 feet, and they're great to hike. We also have kids equipment to play on right here, as well as some fun basketball to do. And if Isaiah, I know you're watching, and Isaiah is he's a tennis expert. We have tennis courts here, but normally we come here and first, as you saw, we do a cleanup. We'll go around with gloves and trash bags and clean up, because almost always there's going to be these hypodermic needles. There's going to be trash. I noticed on the other picnic table I went over there, there's like a random open jar of peanut butter just sitting on the picnic table. You never know what we're going to get here in the neighborhood, but we are in what's called the International District of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and getting ready to take it's going to be a new experiment for me, is to put this camera in on the dash of my car and then just give a tour of the neighborhood God has called us to serve. And it is a great pleasure to have missionary groups come in to help us here. And I think our summer coming up is the schedule's packed, but anyone that wants to come in, from a big group standpoint, we're pretty well filled up. But anyone that wants to come in, 1, 2, or 3 or so people, man, you're welcome to come anytime. I'm looking over here at this park bench, and what gross situation do we got going on here? Looks like there was some sort of I don't know what that is, but some sort of fire left some sort of residue. I hope I'm not making you nauseous with my herky-jerky videoing. I'm not a videographer, but we're working on it. Going to go over here to the car, and I did want to, it's sad really that I found that hypodermic needle right here by the picnic tables, but I went and picked up a couple of hypodermic needles just down the sidewalk, just to show you something that, just a reality we have to deal with. We want to be real careful when we pick these up. I'm being pretty sloppy actually today, no gloves, and just going to put them in a Walmart sack. But normally we have a special container to put those in, and try to keep things safe from someone getting whatever comes from it. But I'll show you just a little stroll down the picnic or down the sidewalk, and you know, picked up these right here. And I'm sure where any of you that do any kind of mission work with cities in the US, that you're going to have similar stuff. But this is us. This is Albuquerque, and I'm going to try to pick these up with my other hand, and we'll get in the car and the experiment will continue. Now, where do I put these? I've got these in my hand right here. I'm sure John or Evan or Justin are freaking out. And dude, what are you doing? Let's see, should I put these in the trunk? I will. I'll put these in the trunk, and then we'll hop into the car. I've got some notes and stuff I want to share in the inside the car, and so we'll get to that here in a minute, and then we'll drive down the street down to Central, and then we'll plan on turning west and going probably down and go by the church and finish things up. Drive by the church, and then we'll finish up probably in that parking lot that's just on the other side of the church. So hopefully this is working out. Hopefully I didn't lock myself out of my car. But what is it? Mesa Verde is the name of this park, and I hope you can see that well all there. So do a lot of activities there. If you come to visit us, this one of the things, the features of the neighborhoods surrounding our church and surrounding this park is there are a lot of low-income housing, a lot of old apartment buildings and small houses, and we'll talk about the demographics and the realities of the International District of Albuquerque, what makes it unique, really, in a sad way. But a lot of it has to just do with the type of housing, the type of way it started way back decades ago, with the layout of the buildings and the housing. It just attracts some of the biggest challenges in our city. So let me see if I can get in and get the camera set up on the dash. You can see I ran to Walmart and bought this tripod. So I've got one of these tripods with the bendable legs, and I'm going to set it right there and see how that looks. It looks a little crooked. How about that? And where are we? 7 minutes in. Everything looks like it's working. Let's go. Let's get started. And I'm going to drive and read my notes at the same time. And hopefully this is going to be a beneficial video for you. We're real excited for any group that comes and really need the help. It's amazing that, for example, a lot of times we'll do door-to-door evangelism. We'll go and meet people on the streets. I'm sorry, I'm kind of talking out of my head, but we'll meet people door to door and share the gospel, invite them to our events, invite them to church, and we have a response. It's a numbers game. It's a low response rate, of course, but face-to-face, door-to-door evangelism works, and it works here in this part of town. And so we'll just make our way around the corner, and hopefully this will go well. It is Saturday morning, so things are cool, and it's been pretty chilly. We actually had snow in Santa Fe and Albuquerque yesterday, and so if it's trying to adjust the camera there, if it's let's see, that would have been February 20th and February 21st today. So Saturday morning, this is, like I said, you can see the different apartments. These are some nicer ones next to the park. But the thing about this is called the International District, and it's also, that's what the city calls it. That's what all the signs say. But, it's the war zone. That's what we all call it. But actually, there's good reason for both names. International District, if you look at some of the statistics and look at this part of our city, again, and I wonder how this is. It seems really shaky. I wonder if I just held it. We'll see here. I'll turn. Maybe once we get on a smoother, random dog going by, we get on a smoother street, maybe this will be better. But if you take a 3 mile across circle, if you just imagine a circle 3 miles across that, and say that's the focus of this part of the city, the International District, statistics say that there are upwards of 40 or more languages spoken in this part of the city. It's some of the highest crime rate in the city. It's obviously some of the highest homelessness here in the city. And for me personally, Carmen and I used to live just down the street when we first moved into Albuquerque. That's not our church. That's a Iglesia Adventista something. When we used to live near here, it just breaks our heart because there's so many families and little homes with families in this neighborhood, and then just to be overwhelmed with the crime and with the homelessness, with the drug abuse. I know, and little gangs. I think the biggest gang stuff is over on the other side of town. My son, Ethan, was in law enforcement for several years, and he would just tell me, "Dad, you got to stay away from the west, the central west to the southwest part of Albuquerque. It's run by the cartels, and this side of the city, obviously there is a presence of that here, but this is mostly drug abuse and prostitution and homelessness. And I just want to give a caveat. I think of people like our dear friends, the Jenkins, that have labored here for probably decades, year after year after year, faithfully serving here. You guys know so much more about the neighborhoods here than I do. Carmen and I are just newly stepping in this direction here to serve in this area. I know Pastor Justin knows so much more than I do, especially statistics and personal experience since the church plant in 2020? But still, statistics are that this is it's a good reason to call it the International District. I know for our little church, recently some of us are talking, I think within our group of about 50 or so, that we have represented 9 different countries in our little group of 50 people. And it is just a blast and a joy to see people coming in, either mostly, well, both the neighborhood, but also we have a great amount of students that come in from the University of New Mexico, and just a huge blessing. So we're getting closer here to Central, and all the folks here walking along are homeless. And then we'll come into some of the ministries along Central that serve the homeless. There's a little encampment right there, and you can see people are waking up and getting ready. And man, I feel that this video is going to be all shaky. But right there on the corner is I think it's called God's Warehouse. I have to tell you a little story. I wish I could sound more noble and spiritual, but I got caught speeding several months ago, and they were going to say, you can either pay us $100 or you can do 4 hours of community service. And I said, well, I'll do 4 hours of community service. And I'll let me interrupt my story here just a second. Let me pick up the camera. This is a notorious intersection right here, and you can just see this is some of one of the biggest encampments here at Pennsylvania and Central. They're doing some road construction right there, so you can't drive down there. I kind of wonder if they're doing that on purpose just to bust up some of the traffic and everything. But anyway, God's Warehouse was one of the ministries that would let you do community service. And so I spent the 4 hours one Saturday from about 2 o'clock till 6 o'clock doing I showed up, and I don't think anybody had ever done community service for them. And I went up, and whoever was in charge was, it seems so random, but some guy in a bombed out RV Winnebago type thing that was watching over the ministry there on a Saturday. And here we're coming up to some other Saturday ministries that provide food and clothes and stuff for the homeless. And if you saw that video with Pastor Manuel, that's where he was doing that. And that CVS building right there, pray for us. I mentioned that there would never be an opportunity for us to have access or have a swipe at that building for the church. And then Pastor Justin just said right after that is for sale. So if anybody listening to the video has $2 to $3 million, let's talk. That would be an amazing building for the ministry, hugely strategic, and man, we could do so much out of that building right there. And we'll finish up over there by that building a little bit later because the church is just 100 yards or less from that building. But I'm going slow here. I got people coming up behind us. Make sure we're not getting anybody mad. But I'll turn right here. And I walked around for 4 hours up and down the streets around God's Warehouse. I picked up 75 hypodermic needles while I was walking around, as well as I had a 5-gallon bucket. And yes, I was wearing gloves. But yeah, it's quite an experience just being there on the streets for 4 hours. Some guy went walking by and shot a pistol off into the air twice. And I filled up like 2 dumpsters full, 2 of those, 2-wheeled home plastic dumpsters full, and of trash and garbage. One guy was laying down on the corner just where we just left from, and he had used a restroom there in his sleeping bag, and number 2, and asked if I'd help clean it up. And so that was that, and had a lot of trash bags, plastic bags, and rubber gloves in that part of the evening. But yeah, just super sad. It's really sad. You think, why is this part of town? Why is the situation in our neighborhood the way that it is? And it's a combination of a lot of factors. Some could point to politics, and I think that's another discussion. It's obvious that some of the recent policies over the last 5 to 10 years have clearly made this part of town worse. In 2010, when Carmen and I moved to Albuquerque, this part of town's always been one of the poorest parts of town. But the difference between when we left Albuquerque in 2016 and came back in 2023, the whole city, but especially this part of the city, was strikingly and sadly much worse than it was. That, especially the amount of homelessness. It's just absolutely everywhere. It's not just this part of town. It is just about every single intersection throughout the city. But this seems to be home base for that crisis. And obviously, there's been local politics and federal politics that have made things worse. But really, we've got to deal with things at all levels. And one of the levels as Christians, I believe, we must respond at a human level. And human beings are valuable in God's eyes, and whatever reason that they're in the situation they're in, that we want to respond with the with the love of Christ. We also want to fight for policies that reduce this. So whether it's face-to-face or whether it's in our local school board politics or city politics or whatever, man, may we all be missionaries to bring a different worldview, a different source of power, the transforming heart that the gospel brings, all levels. What is God calling us all to? But for sure, he uses the church, and we're real thankful that that the Lord has blessed us with Restore Church to be here at this unique need. And God uses churches in all demographics, in all parts of the city, whether it's the suburbs, whether it's rural, or whether it's here in the city. This is another corner here by McDonald's that is I don't know if you'd call it a real, it's not really a camp, but for some reason, that bus stop and that this corner right here and that McDonald's is there's always a lot of activity right here. And you can see here in a minute, just the panhandling that is at every intersection. I know when Carmen and I and our whole family moved here in 2010, panhandling was illegal, and they changed that. And yeah, it's just a constant, and it's a challenge to process to see people there. And I know even, you think, well, it's not unique. Yeah, I know that. You see stuff in Grand Island, Nebraska, where we used to live, of similar things, similar influx from people from all over the world, some amount of panhandling going on in Grand Island. I think of the little farm town where I grew up near Lexington, and Lexington, Nebraska has just been transformed by, started off in the early days with a meat packing plant came in. They used to build combines, and when they changed it from building combines to a meat packing plant, the whole county changed. And I've got family in law enforcement up there in Dawson County, and it changed our little town of Cozad. It changed Lexington, and it's just the amount of crime, the amount of challenges to the schools. Just the downtown of Lexington is completely different because of the immigrants that have come into the little town there. And so all of us are affected by this, and I pray that God would give us wisdom on how to respond at all levels, from policies to face-to-face. And I'm going to grab my notes right here and talk about mercy ministry. I always think about the classic verse, James 1:27. James 1:27 is pure religion and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. The only reason that we can have mercy, the only reason that we can press into issues like fatherlessness, one of the biggest issues in Albuquerque is fatherlessness. A statistic right here on fatherlessness is 43% of that lady's praying for this. Oh, we got another ministry right there. The lady's praying for that guy. How cool. 43% of households in Albuquerque have no father. And I think our city is in one of the top in the nation where of fatherlessness. And I think of the fatherlessness of widows trying to raise a family. Also, 51.6% of all pregnancies in New Mexico end in abortion. 51.6% of all pregnancies. If there's ever an orphan, If there's ever someone that doesn't have a father, it's the vulnerable children in the womb. No one there, not the law, no one is there to protect them. And your heart just breaks. And you think, Lord, how can we reach out and serve the poorest of the poor, the homelessness, the fatherless, the widows? And well, Carmen and I are trying to figure some of that out. But I do know this: God has created the church. And I think about, I'm not into rap music, but I think about that song about there's no church in the city. And there's a lot of little churches here in town, but we need more. But God has called us to address the issues in society through the church. Number one, the church is to be home base, headquarters for changing hearts through community and through a loving transformation of the heart. And people are getting mad at me right now. There's the church right there. There's Restored Church. So that's where we meet. That's where I was just the other day in the video. But I've got people in traffic all around me. They're honking, and you can tell it doesn't take long for people to get upset. I'm going to turn here, and then we'll just pull it over into this parking lot, and I'll finish things up. Because see, we're about 26 minutes in, and I hope this has given you a bit of an overview of our field of labor here at Restore, and what Karma and I, as urban missionaries, are seeking to do, to serve, to learn. Again, I'm such a newbie to this specific place of ministry, and hats off to all the churches in this neighborhood and all the ministries serving to the needs here, and all the Christians that are teaching in the public schools here. One of the things I am an expert on is public education, and spent the majority of my career as a public school educator. Some of my best years were in the public schools, but also in Christian schools as well. Also in business, Karma and I navigate here. Wonder if it's okay if I pull up here in the dirt. Hopefully we won't get in trouble. Pull up right here. Across the street from the church is a casino, and a whole mile block of horse racing, and the state fair meets there, and then there's the big casino. And so I hope this works. I can't see myself on this lens, but hopefully that works right there without much glare or whatever. So church off here to the left. Finish up right here with just the thought of that God uses the church. You know, the Apostle Paul went out through the Roman Empire in the first century, the Roman world, around the Mediterranean Sea, and what did he do? He planted churches. And so God bless all of you, wherever you are, serving in churches. And churches can be a place of power and transformation to send out people to start nonprofits, to send out individuals to be teachers in the public schools undercover. I know for us, when Carmen and I started a business that served public schools way back in, that was 2007. We started that business, and we started a tutoring program for the public schools in Wichita, Kansas, that had the poorest scoring test scores in the schools. And what it was is there was a program that was initiated called the No Child Left Behind program. Some people hate it, some people love it. But what it did for us is we came into the Wichita public schools, and the schools that couldn't get their test scores up, they would pull funding from some of their programs and give it to businesses, for-profit businesses. And so there's about 100 to 110 public schools in the Wichita public schools. 7 of them couldn't get their scores up. And so we came in with an after-school program to teach kids the basics so that they could get their test scores up. And we had a lot of success. It was a great time. We did that for 7 years. 7 out of 100. We moved to Albuquerque, and Albuquerque is about the same size as Wichita, and there's about 100 to 120 public schools in Albuquerque. Every single public school in Albuquerque doesn't have their test scores high enough. For companies that worked with that same program and lived here in Albuquerque, every single school was served by their after-school program to help them with just the basics of reading, the basic with science, the basics with math to help get their test scores up. Albuquerque Public Schools, God bless all the teachers. God bless all those that are seeking to serve well in the city with that. But we do compete with, I think, Alabama for the worst the worst test scores in all the nation. Albuquerque Public Schools is number 50 worst. And that's our city. That's our neighborhood. That's where we are. Let me look at my notes and see if there's anything else. Highest in auto theft. and I think Albuquerque's super high in that. I think California is highest now as far as the state, but we are 5 hours north of Juarez, Mexico, and we are also on the crossroads of interstates, I-40 and I-25, and auto theft is crazy here. Crime is high here. I think I was starting to tell about when we first moved to Albuquerque. We lived just a few blocks over, right on the edge of the International District. And it was like the first or second night that we had been there, and I was out in the front yard in the dark talking on my cell phone. Some car came up. Dude jumped out with a hammer or something and ran over to our minivan and smashed out the back window of my minivan, jumped in and drove off. And it's like, welcome to the neighborhood. Fast forward to 2023, when we moved back, I moved down here by myself, and our house got robbed within the first month of when we moved back in. So anyway, I know every area has their crime and their issues, and the different parts of the city have poverty, but it is unique here. And the situation, if you have ever seen the movie or the TV series Breaking Bad, I used to think that was hyperbole, that was just them making crazy television, crazy good from a cinematic standpoint, and crazy sad from the brokenness of the theme of that, TV series. I wonder if that's Isaiah driving by right now. That looks like his car. Is he going to turn around? He's pulling up to the stop sign. But anyway, wanted to share this with you. Oh, I want to show you the Keller book. If you are wanting to do a sermon series or do a study on mercy ministry, the role of deacons, the role of mercy ministries, the role of how a church can be instrumental in launching out people in your church to do one-on-one mercy ministry, to start nonprofits that address the needs of society from a biblical standpoint, from a church honoring standpoint. Mercy Ministries by Tim Keller. I cannot more highly recommend this book. Very theological, as Keller always is, but also very practical, as Keller always is. And it also honors the structure and the gift and the blessing of the church in those kind of things right there. So this has been a little bit different, you guys. I hope this works out. Again, First Baptist Church Sweeney, God bless you guys. Can't wait to meet you later this year, but wanted to put this together and talking through. I think we've got it. Don't know what else to say except that thank you. If you're still part of this video right now, thank you for watching, and just ask for your prayers as each one of us, praying both ways, praying for you. Anybody listening to this video, I can give a a prayer to God that anybody listening to this video, that you would be encouraged, that you would be strengthened and given courage by the grace of God. I was thinking about the phrase the other day, what do you have to do to earn God's grace? Well, you can't. Grace is God's unearned favor. And God's grace is amazing. And God's grace is what the gospel and the good news of Jesus Christ is all about. Grace is truly amazing. And as for your prayers for Karma and me, as we're trying to share our journey here as we're starting this ministry, this is about the fifth or sixth video that we've put out, and we just want to document our journey as we move forward. So God bless you, and I will turn this camera around and see if I can get it turned off. So it's going to look real crazy here for a second, and then we'll call it good. Thanks again.